Hello, my friends. Welcome to my channel and part 3 of Rowan. She is a grayscale coloring page available in my Etsy shop. And speaking of grayscale, just FYI, I have had a lot of requests for line art versions of my pages, and until recently I wasn't very comfortable or didn't know how, or it just wasn't, something that I did, but I had so many requests for them that I started working on how to achieve that. And maybe you've already seen this, maybe you already know it, depends on when these videos go up, but I have started creating line art versions of some of my pages. Some of them are going to be easier to do than others. I'm not sure if I'll have a line art version for every single page, but I am going to be starting to do that for many of them. So just a little FYI, because I know that some of you prefer line art over grayscale. And this is traditional straight line art, not shaded line art. So you'll have a choice of line art or the grayscale. Alrighty, so we are going to start on the flowers. There's a lot going on here, so I'm just gonna take it a little bit at a time and just kind of pick the ones that I think need to be done first. I don't know whether that's the case or not, but that's what we're gonna do. So for some reason, I don't know why, I'm gonna start on this rose right here. And I am gonna go ahead and put a little bit of white down first on the edges. And then I think there's so many reds to choose from. I never know if I'm picking the one that I actually want or not until I start kind of working with it. So let's see, I've got Tuscan Red, I've got Raspberry. I'm thinking those might be good, and then I might glaze a little bit of an orange over some of the areas. So let's start with the Raspberry. I'm looking at my page right now. Forgive me for just a second. I'm trying to figure out what that is. I don't know what that is. I might have to take that out of the coloring page before I put it up online. I'm not sure why that's there. So I'm going to ignore that little bit, and I will take it out of the page. Hopefully I remember. So I'm going to work around this bit here. Sometimes I do stuff when I color a page, and then later on I'm looking at it going, what the heck what is that? What did I do? So I don't know. But anyway, it'll be gone when you get your version. It's been a few days since I've done any pencil work. I've been doing a lot of computer work and digital work. So it's funny how you get out of, I mean, it's not like it's been ages and ages or anything, but for me, even a couple of days of not doing it and doing just computer work and stuff like that is like, I have to retrain my brain for a few minutes to get used to what I needed to do for this. I'm lightening up my pressure at the very tip of some of this stuff, because when I come in to put the orange, whatever color that might be, I want it to show up a little bit better. I've always liked pale vermilion for some reason. It's always been one of my favorite oranges to use. All right, let's put a little bit of Tuscan Red. We'll use that for our deepest bits. Try some pale vermilion. Might be too much. Might need to add a little bit more red. So I do want it to be a red rose, not an orange rose. So let's do a little bit more of the raspberry. Seems to be a good color. I don't have any other reds pulled out. Maybe I should pull out a like crimson red, maybe. I'll just try a little bit of that. It's kind of a more orangey red as opposed to a blue red. Tuscan. And again, even though my favorite blender is that Caran d'Ache blender, the Prisma blender is nice for these small detail bits. And then I blended right over the areas that I had put the white down, because I don't really want it to be white. I want it to be, you know, just lighter, so that did the job. All right, what's next? Let's do, we better do, What I'm trying to avoid is having anything that I do here, because it's going to be a lot of reds and oranges and stuff. I don't want that bleeding into the white of the daisy. Let's do the daisy next. So for that one, I'm going to need a gray and a green and a yellow. We'll start with a lighter yellow. We can always add some darker yellow in there too. So let's start with the grays. When those are just, I'm going to put these in first, and then I'm going to blend them with the white. And hopefully that is the right thing to do. Comes in here, and then that just softens that gray, gives it a little bit of color, but not a lot. I think that'll be okay. And let's put some, this is lemon yellow, which is way too bright, but that's okay. Yellow ochre. And yellow ochre in the middle. And then I think espresso is going to be too dark, so let's go with light umber. Let's do a little bit of that. I didn't really want a circle there necessarily. Just kind of blend that out. All right, and then I'm going to use some lime peel around between the yellow and the very base of the white flowers. And I still feel like that's not quite dark enough, so espresso it is. I'm gonna use a little bit of that on the underside of the flower. I'm doing it kind of what's the word? I'm not doing a straight line. I'm kind of using maybe dots. Because I want it to look as kind of organic as possible. And then maybe some dots in the center. I think that's okay. What I don't want to forget to do is get some good shadows in here underneath her hair. And espresso, I think, will work just fine for that. So, because I know me, when I'm filming, I get in a rush, and then I finish and I go, okay, it's done. And then I realize, oh my gosh, there's so much that I still want to do on this. So a little bit of shadow on there will work out just fine. And then maybe I just want to blend that just a little bit right there. Okay. Let's do, I guess I'm going to kind of work this way. So let's do the, I can't think of what the name of that flower is called at the moment, darn it. I want to say plumeria, but that's not right. I don't know. It's a purple flower. So a little bit of white in the centers, just a touch right there. And I will say this again. I find when working on Greyscale, where there's lots of stuff going on, sometimes, sorry, I'm trying to grab my pencil. Sometimes it's best if you just go ahead before you get started and just really lightly kind of sketch in some of this stuff that's kind of all blended together, just to help you see what you're doing while you're coloring it. Okay, so I gotta take my glasses. It's really, I have to take my glasses off to be able to see really close-up stuff because I'm nearsighted, and even though I have progressives, you know, that are used for, this is Dioxazine Purple, that are, you know, that help me see close up on you know, regular day-to-day stuff when I'm working. On stuff like this, I prefer to just take my glasses off completely. All right, let's use some of this in here. And then Parma Violet. Kind of doing these like I would do hair, where I start at the top, start at the bottom, and feather my strokes in. That way we get as much of that highlight in the center of each petal as I can get. I'm going to use some white and blend that in the center. This needs some more blue. So I think, what am I going to use? I don't remember what I used when I when I drew it the first time, but it was definitely more blue. So let's try some indenthrone blue. kind of a bubbly blue. Oh, it's kind of a blue. I wonder what I used for these. That's so weird. Nope, that's just too blue. Scratch that, don't use that. Imperial Violet. No, that's not gonna do it either, I don't think. Oh well, it doesn't have to be just exactly the same, does it? That's got a little bit more blue to it. That's better. And of course I covered up the little stamen bits. We can add those in with pen. I just like it better when there's a little bit more variety of color. And then this is the colorless blender. If it's an annoying sound, I apologize. This one has definitely got a scratchier sound to it than the creamy luminance, creamy Caran d'Ache one. So. All right, and then these, I think I'm going to stick with that Imperial Violet. These are the little buds that haven't opened yet. So they just have color on the very tips. This is the flower bud. And then we'll use some apple green and maybe this gray-green light. Let's put some of this down first. And I think some Kelp Green, that's one of my favorite greens. I don't know why. I think because it's kind of a brownish olivey green, so it's nice for a complement to these brighter, and it works good for shadows. That's fine. Okay, drink of coffee. What would I do without my iced coffee in the summertime? All right, let's do this one. So we're going to start out with some lime peel in the center. We're going to do that in the center here as well. almost tempted to start with my darkest colors. Or at least one of the darkest colors, instead of coloring it all with the light color first. I think I'm going to come in and work the shadows first on this one. But before I go any further, I'm going to test and make sure that that's the color that I want to use, because I don't want to do all of them and then go, oh crap, I don't like that color. I think that's going to be fine. So basically this is going in between the petals and at the base of the petals. And anywhere like for the petals that are way down underneath. All right, I'm even thinking I might break out the white before I do the yellow, because I want some things to be as bright as possible. I don't want to go too crazy, but I do want some highlighty bits. All right. I hope I like that color. I know I tested it. I think it'll be okay. Is there any other yellow I want to maybe try instead? You know, I'm going to try Canary Yellow instead of this lemon yellow. I think it'll be better. Yeah, I like this better. right, I think I am going to use some espresso. And this is just, you know, this is just me. This is not necessarily like the right way to do it, but I've always liked espresso as my depth color. Especially with yellows and oranges. I think it works better for shadows than black, definitely. When you use black with oranges and yellows, it tends to turn this really ugly gray. So let's darken up the center bit with some of this as well. Good for that one. I'm just blending with the Canary Yellow. Okay, I think that's good. So yellow ochre, canary yellow, white. So let's do the same thing. Let's use the yellow ochre to start with. Put some white in some spots just to help. Canary yellow. That's definitely better than that lemon yellow. Okay, Espresso. I want it to be really, subtle probably isn't the right word, but I'm not pressing down too hard. You don't have to because it's such a dark color. It really shows up well. And I think I want a little bit more green, so maybe some Chartreuse instead of lime peel. Maybe that will show up a little bit better on both of these. I think the center flower petals should have a little bit more green. That's a little better. All right, blend with the Canary Yellow. Right, let's do that big chrysanthemum. Okay, so I'm going to pull out raspberry, and I think nectar. Let me just get myself a extender here. Okay, so nectar, raspberry, and a yellow, like sand or jasmine. All right, let's try those three and see how that goes. We'll do just a couple of the petals to start with. So I'm going to put the raspberry deep. I want that to be the depth of the flower. Oh, I grabbed peach, not nectar. Hang on. Well, I don't know. You know, now I'm thinking about it. I wonder if I should do peach instead. Let's try peach instead. So peach. I just love. There's certain color combos that I just love together. Peaches, the peaches and orangey colors with the reds are so nice. And then let's try Tuscan Red for the maybe even a little bit darker. All right, I'm going to go with that. So with this kind of chrysanthemum, the inside petals are red, the inside of the petal. So all of the, the inside of the petal. And then the outside of the petal is like a pale yellow color. So that's what we're going to try and do. So all of these out here are kind of, yellow. And I don't even know if that's going to be light enough. Wonder what happens if you know, that white lightens up that yellow pretty well. So we're gonna, I'm gonna use the Jasmine on the outer edges of these petals. Outer, I don't know what I'm trying to say, you guys, jeez. Actually, I think this part that I did red for the rose, I think is the inside of one of these petals here. So thankfully, thankfully that worked. It worked out just fine. Yay. I hate it when I color something and then later realize, oh crap, that's totally wrong. It should have been a different color. Just gonna do all of these to start with, and we can always, then we can add other colors to them if we want to. And actually, I'm gonna take some white on some of these at the very tip, just because I'm extra paranoid when working on white paper of not being able to get my highlights. So sometimes it helps me if I just throw that white down there and in hopes that it stays a little bit brighter. Sometimes, though, working on white is what I need because I want the colors either to be extra super bright or I want a white background, which is what I wanted on her, so hence the white. Okay, so there's our outer edges. So I'm thinking that I'm going to do raspberry in the deepest parts, and then I'm going to blend with the peach. So, and then we'll use the Tuscan Red as that final, getting it even darker in areas that we want it to be even darker. I missed one right here. It's yellow. Okay, so what is that? That is that. No idea what that is. I should know, I drew it. So I'm not coloring the whole thing, I'm just putting this dark color at the base of each petal, this raspberry color. So I think the peach will blend this pretty far into the petals. So there's a lot of petals. Don't be intimidated. Just go slow. Let's use our peach. Yeah, see how much it really blends that raspberry. Some more orange in this. This peach isn't quite enough. All right, so Poppy Red is a pretty orange red. Do I have that pulled out already? No. Poppy Red. I'm also tempted to come in with a pencil. And kind of sketch sort of these flowers a little bit. Define them with the pencil. Let's see how things go here first. Maybe if I add some black in the shadows, I'll be okay. I could do espresso, but I'm feeling like even on this one I want some darker bits, because when you've got this much stuff going on, you really, really need those darks to help define everything. Otherwise it just turns into one big blur of color, and I don't want that. So let's try adding some shadows or some, well, yeah, I guess they are shadows. The deepest parts of this. It's not standing out as much as I would like. So I've got espresso, and somewhere I have black. Okay. Well, either I'm blind, sorry, or I put it somewhere where it doesn't belong. Hate it when that happens. All right, let's try the espresso because I have that in my hand. I don't think it's going to be dark enough. I don't think it's going to do what I want it to do. So I need to find my black. Very sorry. There it is. Okay. All right, let's. The Spirafarben black is really nice because, again, it's a brown black. And so when you go to blend it, if you blend it, as opposed to a cool black like the Prisma black, when you're working with these reds and oranges, it doesn't turn as, into that yucky gray color. A polychromos black would be similar. It's kind of a brown black. Something's just not. Just not quite there yet. This is my Tuscan Red. Okay, so I think I'm going to break out my pencil. Let's see what that does. I guess that's the problem with taking your glasses off to see up close. Then when you go to try and look for something further away, I can't find it. I can't even. This is like, it would not be a big deal if I was not filming, but it's like, all right, so I'm gonna find my pencil. I'll stop the film and I'll find my pencil and then I'll be right back. It looks to me like my camera's been slowly dropping anyway, so I'll fix that as well. Okay, found my pencil. So I'm just gonna kind of do a little sketchy thing here. It's what I did on my original. I had the pencil marks showing for the sketch, and coloring it kind of covered it up a little bit. I don't know why, but I'm really liking the look of that, so it kind of, in this case, adds, I don't know, it feels artistic or something. I don't know, something. I like it. I can't tell you why. But just in doing that, I already like it better. So do it if you want to, or don't. Whatever makes you happy. But I feel better about it, so it's good. And then I'm going to come in with my black and just darken a little bit of this. All right, what am I touching here that's... That's better, just a little, that's better. I am going to need a little bit of shadow underneath that, but I don't want to use black. And I don't want to forget to do it. So real quick, what color will I use? I don't know if chestnut's going to be dark enough. Might be though. I'm always afraid to use grays on a face for shadow. And then I'll just blend it with a little bit of peach. All right, good enough. I still feel like my camera is falling slowly as I'm working. Okay, let's try that. All right, so next is going to be this maple leaf that's down deep underneath the other flowers. So its base is kind of a darkish yellow. And then we've got some oranges, maybe poppy red, maybe pale vermilion. All right, I'm gonna use poppy red for the veins. This particular fall leaf has got red veins in it. And that's the end of that. And it comes all the way under here. So then I'll use, let's use yellow ochre in here. And then switch to let's look at what Canary Yellow looks like. I think it'll be fine because I'm going to glaze over some oranges on top of it too. Okay, so I missed something. This here. I mean, we could just cover all over it and not worry about it, except that it goes on top of this white flower. So that right there is actually part of the chrysanthemum. I should be using the proper colors. Don't get lazy. Do you guys ever get lazy when you're coloring and then regret it? I do. At this point, I'm almost tempted to just use white on this because I've already got some color on here. Use white. Okay, carry on. Is that a thingy too? I think that's supposed to be part of the chrysanthemum too. I should have done my drawing, my pencil sketching before I started coloring. It's not going to make a big difference when you've got so many flowers and leaves all jumbled together. Once we get it all done, you won't look at it and go, "Oh, that's not right." All right, let's try pale vermilion. A little bit more poppy, a little poppy red. No, I want something redder. Hang on, scratch that. Let's do crimson red. Just a little bit. Boy, it's amazing how some pencils just, the pigment is so much darker. It's like you can color with one color And then you break out another one and it's like, whoa, that is a lot darker. Okay, so let's blend that a little bit with our colorless blender. I'm going to use some espresso. Oh my gosh, guys, seriously. Sometimes I feel like I'm losing my mind. It's like, I know it was here. Where the heck did it go? Yeah, my camera is sliding. Darn it. Okay. So, time to break out the pliers. For that one, although I think I want some shadows. Let's try, I'm going to try light umber. Okay, I'm going to do one thing quickly before I fix my camera again. So these are the Arteza Ink Onyx fine liners. I love these for particularly doing stuff like this, where I want to just have a few dots of color. Obviously, they're good for other things, but yeah, those are awesome for that sort of thing. All right, guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to shut the camera off one more time and try and fix it to keep it from doing what it's doing. And I'll be right back. Hopefully that fixed it. I had to break out the pliers because I couldn't turn the little thingy by hand. I'm just adding some shadows under here. You know, sometimes you see stuff and you're like, oh, I need something there. So just with my espresso. One of the things that is nice about the colorless blender is when I'm working in little teeny tiny detail, I don't always want to put a gazillion heavy layers of color in certain areas. It's hard because it's such a tiny little area. And the colorless blender lets me put just a little bit of pencil down where I need it and blend, and it works really well for me for that. So all right, let's see, we got about like 20 minutes. I knew we weren't going to get this whole top thing done. Let's do this leaf. So we want some yellow ochre. There's a lot of colors in that leaf. Yellow ochre and orange. pale vermilion, maybe an orange, like mineral orange. Well, it's kind of a brown orange. And then I'm going to want something red, like maybe, let's try crimson red. And then the tips of the leaves are very bright. So we'll try apple green. And then like espresso. Let's start there. Why my pens? Oh, geez. I even have a box that I keep all I'm keeping my pencils in, but for some reason I keep putting them in places that they shouldn't be. All right, I'm going to start with the apple green. Okay, so pay attention right here, because that right there, this is part of the rose bud. That's a rose bud. So there's the edge of the leaf. Go to, let's get some yellow down. That's kind of our base color. This is the yellow ochre. Yes, yellow ochre. Just soft circular motions, just kind of laying a layer of it down. We're going to glaze other colors on top of it as we go, but this kind of gives us a base. All right, then I'm gonna use some, let's try pale vermilion. right, let's put some red and some crimson red very lightly, because this color really just deposits the pigment very easily. Where else? I think I might want some under here. Fall leaves are kind of fun because you're just blending in so many different colors and they all look good. This is mineral orange. Some, let's try Canary Yellow. Brighten this up a little bit. There we go. And then we'll come back in maybe and add some more red. All right, so the crimson red was just a little bit too red. Let's try poppy red. And actually this leaf also has red veins. So we'll use it for that. We don't get beautiful fall leaves like this here in Arizona because we don't have these kind of, we don't have the kind of trees that do that, and it doesn't get cold enough. You know, most of our trees here are evergreens, at least in the low desert. So it's really, I really enjoy, you know, the fall coloring pages and fall pictures because I get to enjoy those colors. One year we took a trip to Smoky Mountain National Park and the Blue Ridge Mountains. Actually, we were driving cross country to go see family, so we went through the Blue Ridge Parkway. I was blown away because I grew up here, and even though I lived for a little while in Nebraska, and I lived for a while in England, there's nothing like those colors at the Blue Ridge Parkway. And it was so incredible. All right, this is Kelp Green. I'm gonna add a little bit of this. Blender, where are you? There it is. All the pencils look the same. especially on this paper, I like to use the blender because, you know, the tooth is a little bit grainier. So if I was doing this on my tan paper or on a smooth paper like a Bristol Smooth or something, I wouldn't probably have to do this. But I just like the way it looks better when I blend it. All right, and then the magic pen. If you don't have one of these, you can just take your, you know, a sharp colored pencil and do the same thing. You really can. You don't have to have these. It just makes it easier. You don't have to. I don't have to worry about breaking my tip off of my pencil. And so I like it. I still kind of feel it's not bad, but I'm still feeling like it's not quite where I want it to be yet. So I think I'm going to take my espresso and swirly, twirly around in some areas just to darken them up a little bit and add some more old texture to the leaf. Have those really dark shadows down in the depth of this flower bunch. That's going to really help. Like this right here, I feel like it needs some shadow. Okay, that's not too bad. I don't know why, but I want a little bit more bright red. So back to that crimson red. Right? Yes, crimson red. We're just going to add a little bit of that. That's better. That's good. Okay, so I'm probably, I'm about halfway done with the flowers and I'm close to about an hour and a half. So I think I'm going to end the video here. Otherwise, it's going to be a 3-hour video doing flowers. Hopefully I will be, I don't know, I'm a little worried about the number of videos that this one's going to take. I think this one's going to be more than 4. So, yeah, I think it is. Hopefully that's okay. So, thanks for being here, and we'll move on to the next set of flowers probably pretty quickly. I think what I'll do is, instead of waiting a day in between, I'll do the 2 videos, you know, either back to back, maybe on the same day, or, you know, 2 days in a row or whatever, just to get to get those done. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for being here. Until I see you guys again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Happy coloring. Bye-bye.